Hello, thank you for joining me today for another episode of A Day in the Life of a Teacher vlog. This is episode 4 and I'm gonna jump right in. So it is after school right now, but I wanted to share with you guys something that I've been doing both in the morning and in the afternoon. So I don't know about you guys, but in the mornings for me, it's really chaotic. The kids, I think they know what they're supposed to be doing, but unless they have some kind of visual clue or reminder, it just is crazy, even though it's May and they should know what to do. So I created this slide. I just put up every single morning. It just says, good morning, find a seat and set your backpack down, take out your homework folder, planner, and your book, put your lunch in the bin if you have one, put your backpack away on the stage, grab your Chromebook, and get started on iWriting Math. I realize now as I'm reading that out loud, that is a lot of steps, but it's not that much if you've been doing it every single day for 10 months, in my opinion. But since I've been doing this and I just have it up and ready to go, I feel like it kind of serves as a little checklist so that they can keep themselves in check for what they're supposed to be doing in the morning and no one's just kind of sitting around or talking with a neighbor. So I have that in the morning, and then I also have this next one for in the afternoon. So I've always done some kind of slide at the end of the day for them to clean up as kind of, again, a checklist for what they're supposed to be doing, but it takes forever. I don't know if I'm the only one, I can't be the only one, whose kids just take forever in a day to clean up. So the reason that there is that Thankful For You song is because my students should be able to do all of these things in less than 4 minutes. So I got this idea from School in the City. She said this song was perfect, and it turns out it is. So she plays this song while her students are cleaning up, and by the time the song is over, the students should be on the carpet. My students know that by the time the song is up, they should be sitting down in their desk ready for our 5 minutes of fun at the end of the day. And I feel like it's been helping a lot. Normally at the end of the day, it's just craziness. The kids are talking. There's always trash left over. It's not productive. Now I feel like my kids know exactly what to do, and they're kind of like racing the song, so it's kind of like them against the clock, and I feel like that helps a ton. So I will link this song down below. It's 4 minutes long, but you could really put any song on there. It just depends on how long you want your students to be able to clean up for. I hope this continues to work. If you want to try this in your classroom, I would highly, highly suggest it. Alright, my friends, we are working on area and perimeter still in math, and I wanted to share with you guys a really easy lesson I did with my students today that was hands-on, collaborative, and they really enjoyed it as well as understood it. So, each of my students got this little grid paper template. This came with our curriculum, but you could easily find just grid paper online, or even if you just buy grid paper. Then they each had 18 centimeter cubes. This came in a pack that, again, came with our curriculum, but you could probably find these on Amazon. And then they also needed a whiteboard marker. I put the grid paper in a sheet protector so that they could trace over it and we could use it again. So basically what we're trying to do today is explore area and perimeter and the relationship between the two. So what I wanted them to do with these cubes was create as many different rectangles on the grid paper as they could that had an area of 18 units. So they would get it checked one at a time. Say they did this one. So that one's not perfect, but obviously we were doing a 6x3 rectangle. So they'd get it checked by me, and then once they did, they could draw it with their dry erase marker, and they didn't have to do it in the same spot. Alright, I had to get a new marker because you couldn't see the blue. So I am just going to draw the same shape that I just made. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I wanted them to label the side lengths as well. So I gave them about 15 minutes to work with a partner to come up with as many as they could. And then I asked them, do you think that all of these shapes are going to have the same area? And very quickly they all said, yeah, because we used 18 squares to make them. And I asked them if they thought that they would all have the same perimeter as well. Some of them thought yes, some of them thought no. We had a conversation about why or why not. One together. So we found the perimeter of this rectangle that I just created with you. So we have 6 plus 6 is 12, 3 plus 3 is 6, so 12 plus 6 is 18. So inside we put 18. And then they would do the same thing for all their other shapes as well, and found that even though the area was the same, the perimeter was different. And it was really, really easy to do. It was fun. They thought it was cool that they got to use these different shapes, and it leads us in perfectly to what we are going to do tomorrow, which is what I'm going to show you now. If you teach Engage in New York, this should look very familiar to you. This is lesson 19 on module 7, and we're going to be doing basically the same exact thing I just showed you. Every single student is going to get their own grid paper. Every single student is going to get the cubes. But this time they are not going to just be making the different rectangles for having 18 unit squares. They are going to be making different amounts of unit square shapes. So they're going to be making rectangles that have 12 units, 13, 14, 15, all the way up to 18. And they are going to see how many different rectangles they could make with each of those and writing down the width and length. And then they're going to make a line plot with the information that they just collected. So I think we're going to do a couple of them together. Like I think we'll start, I'm planning on starting with doing 12, 13, and 14 together. And then they can do 15, 16, 17, and 18 on their own. And before they start that, I will create the line plot with them for 12, 13, and 14, and then they can finish it on their own. So, really easy, but okay. So I'm just trying to show you guys how I incorporate adding a little bit more hands-on practice with the curriculum that you are given. Yes, we are still doing the lesson that is supposed to be done for where we're at right now, but I'm trying to find as many ways as I can to make it a little bit more engaging for the students and make it a little bit more tangible so that they hopefully understand it better. I shared with you guys recently about the cursive packet that I used, and I wanted to give you guys a little update. So one of my coworkers today sent out this website. I will link it down below and I'll put it right here for you guys too. You can write any word on, including the students' names. So I thought, how cool would it be to print out a paper with each of their first and last names on it so they could practice. And in order to give...
John,
okay.
John, please report to the library. John, please report to the library.
Anywho, so I thought it'd be cool to give them some practice with their own first and last name, but I didn't want them to just have, you know, 4 or 5 opportunities. So I put it again in a sheet protector. They already have their own whiteboard marker. That way they can trace it and they can write it next to it and they can erase it and practice over and over. So I thought that would be really cool. And if you want to try it out, this is a completely free website. It does take a little bit of time to input each student's name because you have to do it one at a time, but I think it's worth it. I also want to share with you guys what we're doing in writing right now. As I've mentioned before, we just adopted the Wonders curriculum for ELA, and I don't know if this is just my opinion or because we've never had curriculum before and our students have never been exposed to writing curriculum before, but I feel like it goes way too fast and expects that they already know things that they just absolutely don't. So I'm going to show you guys kind of like how I've broken down the writing. This is probably the one thing that I struggle with more than anything else because it's such a process and I feel like they just don't have it. And so trying to teach them third grade writing standards when they don't have that foundational skill is so hard, and yeah, it's just been a big struggle. So I'm gonna share with you guys what we are doing. I feel like Wonders has a lot of gaps, so I'm gonna show you what I'm filling in. So we are working on opinion essays right now. So to start, we share with them what an opinion essay is. This came from Wonders. So I just printed it out, we go over it, and then they have an example essay, which is really weak. I want my students to be able to not only state their opinion, but write a topic sentence with 3 reasons supporting that opinion. And the example that they gave us only has 1 reason. So it's just not set up the same way that I want my students to write. And it's not even set up the same way that it tells them to write it in, so like they give us a rubric, and in order to get a 4, they have to have a clearly introduced topic and state an opinion. They need to organize with clear reasons. So then they only give 1 reason. I don't know, it's just confusing. So as I was looking this over and trying to prep it for them, before I taught it to them, I was like, yeah, forget this. This one sucks. We're just gonna build one together. So in order to try to make it a little more fun, we wrote one together about trying to convince our parents to do something. So the one that they wanted to convince their parents, so one of the ideas was to convince their parents to have every 9-year-old eat ice cream for breakfast. The 3 reasons they came up with is because it's healthy, it's delicious, and because it will wake the kids up. Again, they wrote this with me. These are not my ideas. And so I told them, you can write whatever you want as long as you support that opinion in a convincing manner. So our first opinion has a stated opinion and a topic sentence, and then each paragraph following that is one of the reasons. So the first reason they state should be the second paragraph, The second reason they state it should be the third paragraph. The third reason they state it should be the fourth paragraph. We didn't write the fourth paragraph so that they could write their fifth paragraph with me, the conclusion. The fifth paragraph is the conclusion that needs to have a restated opinion and a call to action. So if we were trying to convince someone to do something, we need to tell them to go do that thing. So this is what we came up with if you want to take a look at it. Completely together. While I was writing this, we also all had an Oreo paper, which I love this. This came from Pinterest. If you just search Oreo opinion graphic organizer, it will come up. So at the top, they got to pick what was their opinion, what were they going to try to convince someone of, and then the 3 reasons go in each of these boxes, and then they know that they have to include an example or some kind of detail that would help convince or really drive that point home. And then at the end, they're restating their opinion again, and this is also where I had them put their call to action. So this paper I love because it just lays out the complete essay for them, and it makes it easy for them to see, and then it really helps when they go to write their essay on paper. So today we are at the point where they should be able to write it themselves, so I just gave them kind of an outline on the board of what I expected them to be able to do. So I just have each of the different paragraphs circled in the numbers and then what should be in that paragraph. We are in the middle of writing, so I'll let you know how those turn out, but they all seem to be writing a lot. So I don't know if it's good writing, but I'm proud of them that they're at least going for it. And again, this time, the first time we did it, they were convincing me to do something, and this time they were convincing their parents to do something. And I told them that they're going to be able to take that home and actually try to convince their parent of that. So a lot of them are writing about things like letting them get an iPhone 10. Kids writing about having their parents get them a pet snake, which makes me want to throw up, but good for you, kid. And then, what were some of the other ones? Like a later bedtime, and I think like letting them play Xbox more, or something like that. So they're doing their best to try to convince their parents. I'm a firm believer that to give students opportunities to write, we need to teach them the structure, but then let them write about whatever they want. So yes, this needs to be an opinion, but your opinion can be whatever. I don't like giving prompts that are really specific, and I feel like Wonders really kind of pigeonholes our students because it expects them to write to exact prompts, and so I try to get away from that as much as possible while still teaching them correct structures. So that is what we are working on right now with writing. I want to show you guys how I set up for a sub because I have to be out for a science training tomorrow. So this is at the back table that is next to my desk. I like to just kind of lay everything out. I used to use a sub tub, but it felt like things kind of just got pushed to the bottom or were missed. So I like to lay everything out, and I put a sticky note on it with what time it's supposed to be at. So I always put my lesson plans on the side, and then I have everything according to time. So they're going to do math at 8:15, then their spelling test at 9:55. Luckily Fridays are easy, so they have some online tests, so that's in the subplans, but nothing needs to be laid out for that. Then I have art at 12:35 with an example and then directions on the back. And that reminds me, I need to set out some paper for that. And then I always leave out a little treat for them and just say thank you for being here. I had a couple people do this when I was subbing, and that always made me smile, so I like to do that too. And then on the other side, I leave out some kind of little behavior management thing. So you guys have seen me talk about smelly spots before. My kids react really well to this. So I left some out in a little note of how to use it, and that's pretty much it. Actual subplans go, I got this template from my master teacher, and then I just tweaked it so that it fit my classroom and our schedule and all of that. But I just have it saved on my computer so I can just pull it up and use it for the next time. That way it doesn't take me hours and hours and hours to write my subplans. But since my classroom is a little bit different, we have flexible seating, and the house system and our behavior management system is different in every classroom actually. I like to start with that so they have some kind of pertinent information to know about kind of how things run in our classroom. And then I always have on my template like the different times and what we do at that time. That way I can just easily change it out. And even like this all stays the same every time I have a sub. Sometimes this changes. Math is always the same format. I just change the lesson. I leave this the same. And then depending on what day, this kind of stuff will change. So it's really, really easy. Honestly, writing subplans does not take me a long time. I always see people talk about how it takes them hours to write subplans, and I want to be like, girl or boy, whoever it is, just make a template, because then you can just easily change in and out things. These lesson plans are pretty short because our Fridays, again, have a lot of tests on them, unfortunately, just the way our district is working right now. So it doesn't take me too long to fill in that section, but it really, really helps if you just create some kind of template that you can just follow every time and then just update it with whatever information is for that specific day. The last thing I want to share with you guys is this waffle word game. One of my coworkers found this week, and we've been playing it all week, and it is absolutely amazing. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of like Scrabble, but better. And we've been using it as kind of like a little brain teaser slash brain break for when the kids need a little time out. So I will put the link down below so you can check this out for yourself. But basically how you play it is you click the little arrow button. There's all these languages to choose from. You press play, and then you are going to try to make as many words as possible by drawing a line. And you don't have to just go straight or backwards or across like in the crosswords. You can go any diagonal weird way that you can find a word. So hopefully I can find some in here. So here we have, oh God. All right, so here we have fire. So see, I didn't have to go straight, I could go across. And then it will give you the number of points that is on the tile times the number of tiles that you have. So we have like 3, 8, 10, 11 times 4, so it gave me 44 points. And you only get 2 minutes, so I only have 1 minute and 30 seconds left. So let's see if I can get some more. Okay, so then afterwards it tells you how many words you found, and so it's only a 2-minute game. It goes by really quick. I just post this on Google Classroom, and I tell them, okay, go play the waffle word game, and they can play it by themselves. You guys, it is the best thing ever for this time of the year. They're dead silent. They're still doing something somewhat academic, and they think it's super fun. So I would definitely recommend trying this game out. This vlog was actually done over the course of a couple days, as you can see with my outfit change. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found some things that were helpful. Please go ahead and subscribe and give me a like, and I will see you guys soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.